how are you this morning? How are you feeling today? It is Friday, January 19th, 2024, 7:59 a.m. and here we are. Another cold day in the city, but a day we can handle. Good morning, Dawn. How are you, my darling? It is. Good morning, Lisa. It is Friday. How are you guys feeling today? Hello, Lynn. How are you feeling today? It's a lovely morning. Amazing things are happening. The world is alive, right? We know that. Hello, Ryan. Good morning. Yes, it is a lovely morning. How are you feeling today, Ryan? How are you doing? It is a lovely day. So, here we are. Did you see what I have as your topic? One of the pillars. Good morning, Aman. How are you doing this morning? How are you feeling today? Okay, guys, it's the feeling that makes the difference, even in what our topic is today. So it's 8 o'clock. Let's get the show on the road. I wrote this because it just happened to be. Again, it's meditation. It's writing down my thoughts. It's gratitude. It's writing my goals down. That thank you, Aman. Lots of lovely message. And that is why it comes to this. The pillar of emotional prosperity. So those of you who do not know why I call them prosperity, those 5 pillars, is that anything you have that is top notch in your life, you're prosperous in it. Could be mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial. Prosperity doesn't only mean financial, because you can have all the money in the world and you're not prosperously, mentally fit. There you go. So our emotions are going on a rough ride now. No matter where we live in the world, with all the upheavals that are happening, we're experiencing really rough, actually very rough emotional damage. And it's not that we can control it because it's not there, but we can control how we behave with it, how we react to it all. So this is why I decided, I love giving you something to give you a few moments on the weekend to think about. Emotional prosperity is everywhere we turn. There isn't one place on earth that right now it is just nice and sweet and everything is just going perfect with emotions, with emotional health. Therefore, for this reason, I am going to give you some tips today on how to manage what we are all experiencing. No one is, no one is able to avoid this. No one is saying that my emotions is not taking a hit right now. Because maybe we are not consciously thinking that your emotions are out of whack because you're not dwelling on it, but you're in it. We're in the soup. It's like a big pot that they put on the stove and everything is in it. And we are part of that because we're part of the universe. You're part of the world. Our energy goes back and forth amongst many, many people. So sometimes we do not see that our emotions are getting out of whack. No, we don't. Why? Because nobody tells us we should check in with our emotions. So we push forward, taking no time to stop and consider what we are doing to our bodies. Hi, good morning, Ezra. How are you feeling today? So, what are we doing to our bodies when our emotions is going its way and we are not paying attention to it? So many things happens. And one of the things we know for sure, our overall emotions are linked to our 5 senses. So you know what the 5 senses are. We can hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching. So our emotions are tied so tightly to those 5 senses that nobody told us to look at it and see how we are functioning with our emotions going wherever it chooses to go. So good morning, Loretta. How are you feeling this morning? So when we are walking through life and those 5 senses are in tune. Good morning, Nadi. Please give me the time that we're meeting today. Remember that our emotions are connected to our 5 senses. It doesn't matter if you have never thought of it before, you never heard it, take a minute and think of it. Because when our 5 senses causes us to react emotionally to what we experience through those senses. So our senses is what makes make us react emotionally. It's only our senses. Because when we look at what is going on, we react because we are seeing it. We react to it. Even if it's somebody wearing an outfit we do not like, or they're dressed in a particular way that we do not understand, or we look at it. People in different cultures wearing different clothes, we look at it and we okay. And that is a reaction, and is what we see. If we come across somebody abusing another person, we also react. If we see something that is enjoyable, we react. So you see, our emotion is what drives us to where we want to go in our life. Good morning, Yuko. How are you feeling today? So those 5 senses are they're just like this with the emotions. Because when we see something, we react pleasantly or not so pleasantly. What about what we hear? When we hear someone, good morning, Kia, how are you feeling this morning? When we hear someone talking, or we hear something on the TV or the radio, I have seen people go like that. And they react. And when they react about this, their words are even harsher. And I mentioned that before. You don't know the person. You only heard something. You'll never meet them. Chances are your paths will never cross. But you use HATE to describe them. You use words like disgust. But who are you using those words? They're not there. The man on the TV is speaking. The radio is speaking. The people in the drugstore is speaking. The people in the supermarket, people at the park, people are speaking at the airport. And you're hearing. And you're responding with so much hate. And who are you affecting? Stop and think. We can control that because it's not happening to us. It's happening outside of us. So we can control exactly how to behave. But we do not know that what we see and what we hear is controlling our emotions. And we have that opportunity. Good morning, whoever you are. Your name is so long. Welcome to the Morning Blessings. How are you feeling today? We don't stop to think, hey, how am I reacting to this? This is not going to affect me. And it could be a politician, it could be a doctor, it could be you cannot get angry and cause yourself, your blood pressure to go up. My watch will tell me that right now it's 77 beats per minute. So it tells me how I am reacting to what I'm telling you. And that is what you have to realize. You are messing up your own insides. It's not the outside. Never mind the wrinkles you put on your face when you make a scroll or you purse your lips and you do that long enough, it's going to stay there, right? So we have to realize, if it's something you can take action on, like I have friends who will not vote. But then they call me to complain. I hang up on them. I am just getting rid of people in my life like I'm sweeping a broom out and sweeping them all out. You don't vote, but you're complaining. Your only power is to make that X. Make the X. Who represents you in your district? Do you know? And that annoys me because they'll say they're not doing anything for our area. And I say, well, who is your local person? I don't know. Who is your level at the provincial or state level? I don't know. Who is the federal? Oh, I don't know. So you don't know who is your member of parliament or your senator. You don't know. But you are working yourself up into a frenzy over that. Did you vote? I can't be bothered. You can't be bothered. Then you're making these choices you're fighting. Somebody made it for you. Whether you vote or not, the choice is made. So go use your X. It's the most powerful tool we have. And to control that part of the life. So do that. Instead of complaining and hating somebody, you will never meet. You don't like them, X them out. Don't fight, don't get angry, don't get in arguments, X them out. And then you can say, I did my part. And that's what happens. So your emotion is going crazy because you hear things and you're angry. You don't know these people. And that is the first thing. So we know what we see affects us, but we don't control. We don't realize it's affecting us internally, our blood pressure, everything, our heartbeat, our breathing. We start to breathe shallow. We are angry. We're stamping our feet. We are pursing our lips. Our eyebrows are coming together. We have more lines than Kylie counted the lines on my forehead for me last night and said I had 5 of them. I need to get rid of them. I don't know what she has to do for that. But anyway, I listened to her and I said, just wait. Kylie, you just wait. And she walked away. So anyway, here we are. What about what you smell? What about the things you smell? We make no allowances for flavors and scents from other cultures. In many cases, we do not care. And in some cases, oh my, we really make something out of it. We have an international world. The world is much smaller. It does not take 5 weeks to fly to row a boat across the north coast to come to America or vice versa. It doesn't. It happens in less than 5 hours. In some cases, it's less than that. So cultures intermingle with us. They mingle. They go in. I am running a class, a sales team. And I have a meeting at 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. And one lady comes in and she's as angry as yesterday. You think she went through a storm and she was the only one caught in the storm that somebody else created. Oh, she couldn't stand it. Complaining about somebody smelling of curry. And she just, it was too much. You should have just seen it. And I said, okay, just know that you brought it out into the open. I will deal with it. So I went to the staff member and I called in my office. I said, you know what? This is a different culture. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm not apologizing, but I'm just saying I am sorry you had to go through that. So stop the tears, and this is what you do. And I said, you know what? I know you live in an apartment, and that's your flavor. That's your spices, the curry, and of course, you know, you have to maybe close the bedroom door when you're cleaning, when you're cooking, when the clothes are up, turn on the fan, that's why they have it. Or just take what you're going to wear tomorrow and hang it on the balcony, let it air out. Boom, bam. She followed whatever instruction, and I guess she maybe got more on her own, I don't know. But all of that went away. But that anger, for some people, it was okay to smell that. Some people love that. Good morning, Marina. So we have to learn to realize that our pillar of emotional prosperity is bending under the weight of what we experience through our 5 senses. It could be pleasant. You clip a rose from the garden, the fragrance is intoxicating. You get some really lovely perfume, or you have something you're cooking, or before you go to eat the food, you inhale it. When you're going to have a glass of wine, you inhale the fragrance coming through you. How are you feeling today, Marina? And then you turn around. And so you have both places. So if the smell is so bad that you cannot experience it, okay, you make a statement. But do you have to despise every human being that uses that particular flavor? Or do you judge them by the smell of the food that they eat? You see, but in the point of it, the anger you're going through or the discomfort you're putting yourself through does not affect them, does it? It has nothing to do with them. Good morning, Azim. How are you feeling today? It has nothing to do with them. It's all about you. So we need to realize those 5 senses they bend the emotional prosperity because we do that. And action is also part of what happens. Somebody look at you with the eye and you get angry. You taste something you do not like, or you taste something you like. And then you feel so good, you just love it. Nothing tastes so good in my mouth as a lovely piece of blue cheese. But I like it. So I'll enjoy it. And sometimes my friends will say to me, you and your stinky cheese. That's okay. You don't have to eat it. Good morning, Nancy. But when somebody criticizes those things, they are criticizing themselves. Oh, your stinky cheese, and they make their face go up. You know how it is. So does it taste and the smell. But the taste was good for me because I love really, really, cured, harsh maybe cheeses. I grew up with my father putting blue cheese on everything, and I ate that. I have a friend, and every year on my husband's birthday, she said, I'm going to have a scotch, but it's only for Brian. And she will have it, and you can see it pains her. But she said, I'll do it just for him because I know how he enjoyed it, and that she would always have that sip. And then she would smile. She said, after all these years, I like the smell now, and maybe one day I will get to like the taste. But she makes that sacrifice with her emotions for somebody she liked. So that is the taste. So we talked about hearing and how we react, seeing and how we react, and how we can react, tasting. What about the touch? What about when you touch someone? What about when you hug someone? How do you feel? What about when you caress someone? And what about if you can decide to caress you? I feel so good today. How does that feel? And of course, the things we touch that repels us. Our reaction. Which one works for you? The thing that repels you or the thing that you enjoy? If it repels you, you don't have to do it, do you? So when you tell me, Tessa-Marie, my skin is so dry, and I say to you, you know what, get rid of your $400 cream and just warm some olive oil on the stove or in the microwave and saturate your body before shower with it. Oh, olive oil, So I remember distinctly my neighbor said to me when I was pregnant, do not ever eat your stomach. She said, just she was Italian, warm up olive oil, and when you feel your stomach is itching, rub it on. You won't get stretch marks. Well, you know me, right? I followed that. And my husband told me I smelled like a salad. But I don't have stretch marks, right? So that's what matters, is how you feel. You touch something, how you respond. It affects your emotion. Your emotion affects your behavior. So we did hearing, tasting, feeling, touching. So we did them all. So all of us 5 senses, we know they're working. So we can hear, we can see, we can taste, we can touch, and then we talked about smelling, right? You smell the curry. But if you do not realize that you have control over those 5 senses and how you react to what you experience, because they're going to work. That is what they're there for. If your smell is not, if you lose your sense of smell, did they say people lost their sense of smell and their sense of taste during COVID? You miss it, right? And now you cannot, or after you have had a really, really bad fever or something, you have no taste, you're seeking for something. In the Caribbean, they get you something really spicy and tasty, and they put all the different flavors, the salt, the taste, so that you can bring back the taste buds. You miss it. And you get angry because you say, I can't taste anything. I don't enjoy eating. All of that. No, that can prolong. So the action of another person now causes road rage. Somebody cut you off and you follow them. Emotional in place. You're both fighting. They grab a crowbar from their car. They grab a dish from their car. And before you know it, there is an altercation that should not happen. Had you known to just leave them alone, you don't know, or you have no idea what that human being has experienced. It's none of your business, and really, but you have to consider that. So that is why with the 5 senses, you have to consider where they are coming from. You heard your parents say, you know what, just consider where this is coming from and let it go. Same thing. Because we're so modern and we are so fancy that everything of old, we kind of just put them on the side. We don't do that anymore. We do the modern thing now. Like you do not discipline children with anything except mommy, daddy, and the conversation I hear next door. Sometimes I wonder, am I in the twilight zone? This human being that is less than 2 inches tall, no, 2 feet tall, is angry. Did you hear what mommy said? And then mommy goes, yes, daddy. I'm sure he heard. No, I didn't hear. and then, there's no, and that conversation go out there. I have to either put an earphone or get out of the sight of that, because it is too amazing to see how they're reacting. Instead of having is a mommy and a daddy above the 2 feet old person. So the days of talking with a child and saying, you know what, that is not nice. If I did that, how would you feel? No, we have to communicate to them at the level. And the person now is pushing to get higher, because that is where they are. They're growing, they're determined, they have to express themselves. So we have to realize, even that person, to teach that 2 feet tall person that yes, you are angry and that's how you're behaving because you can't have it. Why don't I, well, so-and-so, like Jillian said, Vicky can cross the street. And why don't you let me cross the street? And I said to her, well, obviously nobody cares whether Vicky dies or get hit by a car. So the next time Vicky crosses the street, she screams across to Vicky, obviously nobody cares if you die. That wasn't nice, but that's what I told her. So we have to let them see when we're disciplined why you're doing it. It doesn't mean that I don't like you. I just don't like what you're doing right now. So you explain things. So you can do the same thing. You don't know this person that just cut you off. You don't know this person like when Yuko went to the supermarket and somebody took the grocery cart and purposely pushed it at her heel. Yuko didn't know her, but she did it purposely. So would Yuko turn back and take the cart she had and push it back at her? Can you imagine? She chose to just let her go. I considered where this is coming from and I let it go. That is why I always say to you, live to fight another day. You let your emotions go down. The Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. Do not always show your cards. Do not count all what you have at the table. Sometimes you have to realize that people despise you just because of the essence of your being. Good morning, right, sweetie? Just because I see what I'm wearing today. Jillian is on, and I'm just showing her. She gave me this outfit. It's slit open. Anyway, so I'm wearing it today. So sometimes when we are doing things in life, we have to realize that we can wait. Just wait. Because the person that is abusive, that's causing your emotion to go, will always come back. But if you take your time and you plan the way you would like to do this, you would just sit there and you would wait, because they're coming back. The first time they step on your toe and you did not really make a big fuss, hey, they're coming back. But the next time, if you take your time and they come back, you can move your foot. And when they step, if they fall, that's their being. So we have to balance our emotions by realizing our 5 senses are the thing that drives our emotion good, or it can drive it bad. All of them, look at the senses. Let's start with what you hear again. Just brush it, listen to that. If you hear pleasant music, like you guys, I love classical music. I love to listen to really dance, little funny music, like what they call fairy music. I love to pianos. I love Claude Debussy, and I listen to that because it just tickles my mind. For somebody else, it is, they don't want it. Oh, I can't stand. That's good. But if you cannot stand it, you don't have to hurt your face because you cannot stand it and scratch your throat to the point where you're destroying your own throat. Just let it go. You don't have to do that. No, what you see, you're seeing. So that tells me it's away from you. Why are you so angry at something that is happening that has nothing to do with you? You have no skin in that race. You have no horse in that race. You have nothing, yet you're making it your business to make it bring your blood pressure to 91 when it really should maybe be about 69. It's happening outside of you. You seeing it? The stench of this thing is bothering me because you can smell it. Really? All of that, is that going to affect the stench and this smell will just dissipate because I don't like it? It's going to stay there. You have to move. When you taste something, you don't like it, especially if somebody has made something for you and you're eating it. You can taste it and you don't like it. It's okay. And you can tell them, I really didn't enjoy it. It's okay. But you do not have to take it and make it feel so bad and hurt yourself. Oh, it was disgusting. No. Just say, I didn't enjoy it. It was a little bit different. So choosing how to react. You tell your friend it is disgusting. Guess what? She'll never make anything for you. Oh, the last time you told me it was disgusting. Can you blame that person? Tell me. So again, it's our emotions that sets everything on fire. We touch something and it's grainy, it's not pleasant. It's okay. There's different touches. But sometimes we touch it and it's nice and we enjoy it. So which emotion are you using? What are you going to do if your emotion matching through the world as the world is going through so much havoc right now? All of that is not going to make it go away. And we all have to be aware that you are going to meet others and they will represent cultures you do not like. And sometimes that person that was in the middle of COVID didn't realize that Yuko wasn't from China, but because she has that face, I'm going to make the cat climb, roll her underneath the cat, and there's not much to Yuko. So can you imagine this person and Yuko taking, she chose to do that. It's like me being on the subway years ago. And this lady came to me and she came down, she looked at me and she told me she hated black people. And I looked at her and I said, so do I. And she got up and she left. But I said it to her with a smile. And that is what you have to remember. You choose how to react when certain things are said to you, what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, what you touch. Those five senses, if we do not pull them in at the right time, they can cause us to have it. For example, it's appraisal time, and your supervisor, you go to the bank for a mortgage, they want to appraise your property. They appraise it lower than you think it is. You need the money. So don't come screaming at me in the bank or the person and tell them that anger is not going to get them to reconsider. But if you say, okay, tell me why, what I can do, why, and they can say, well, comparatives in the area, things like that, right? It's the same thing that you turn around, the manager is telling you you're not functioning. This is what you did well, and this is next time you must improve. And you're angry. And you tell the manager back, or you choose without thinking to insult your manager. You think you're going to get a job, you will be blacklisted and kicked out, but you need the money to pay the bills. So you see, when I say to you guys, the 5 pillars of prosperity are all linked like the fingers of your hand. One is sick, the others are weakened because they have to compensate for what that broken or strained or cut finger or lame finger or nerve finger is experiencing. Try holding a glass with 3 fingers. The thumb is on the side. But the thumb has to come together. And these are what the 5 senses are. So when you tell the manager where to go and you get fired, it affects you mentally. And then it affects you financially. You haven't got a job, but you have bills coming in. It affects you spiritually. Because now you decide, you're going to give up. God is not on your side. The universe took off and left you standing in that mess. But you weren't emotionally balanced. We need to learn to balance our emotions. When the 5 pillars are working together, that's when we get a fulfilled life. Our emotion is the first one that goes because it's so close to our 5 senses. It's not more powerful or stronger than any. They need, even the baby finger has its place. Everybody hears the word prosperity and they think it's only about money. But remember, in the old days, when the more children a family had, the more prosperous they were considered to be. So, if you are looking to live a prosperous and fulfilled life, every time that you're going to jump and make a decision and make an assumption and be critical and use degrading words, words that are not exquisite or not impeccable to describe yourself or others, remember, you are just bringing it on you. And that is why the 5 pillars of prosperity are the most important things you have. Because if you lost your job and you have no money, if you're going through a lot of turmoil, you cannot recall what you have studied and to apply it appropriately at the right time for your work, you're going to get it out again. So, you know what? You were supposed to do that. You didn't do that on time. Or you did it and it was incorrect. And that's what you're being pulled up for. And you get angry and you're choosing that time to fight and discuss and say things to that person. You're going to lose your job. It affects your finances. Spiritually, it drains you. Physically, you have no job. You sit at home and you're not exercising. You give up on yourself. And you wonder why? Without those 5 pillars working, and if you fool around with your reaction towards the 5 senses, you're in trouble. We're all in trouble. But know that the world is in so much turmoil. We need to learn how to react to what we see, hear, taste, smell, touch. We have to. Because we are causing a lot of grief to ourselves and nobody's coming to fix it when you're emotionally exhausted and you cannot think and you're tossing and turning in bed. Who is going to fix this? We need a good dose of positivity with that state of the world and North America. We do. And we have to choose how we are going to react. There's something I can share with you guys. You know what I do now for myself? And I just listen and I act. And when I get it, I share it. I spend a lot of time in just listening. I love the silence and the darkness of the early morning. And I needed, what a difference a day makes. I needed this today. Thank you, Kia. When I wake up in the morning, I love sitting in silence and stillness. Of course, I meditate. Of course, I pray. Of course, I say my rosary. Of course, I write. Of course, I read. And I listen to sometimes really low music while I'm reading or writing. I do that. And in that time, if a thought comes, and you know what came yesterday? Concentrate more on what is working in your life than what is not working. We tend to see the worst in our life and we put all the effort and we think it will never be healed. And it's funny, I had that first thing in the morning. I wrote it down and it stayed in my mind. And there's lots more that comes, but it stayed. This stayed. So when I finished the live yesterday, around 9 o'clock or so, I get a phone call from Vanessa. I was still in the area where I sit and do my stuff. And she said, oh, by the way, the cupboard on the top of the stairs, the coat cupboard coming in from the side door, is broken. It's not working. You know, you have those that are like the bevel, I don't know what they are, so they go in and they go out. So she told me that. But I had other things I was doing. And then I remembered that. And I go, okay. So that's what that message was about. Concentrate on what's working instead of what's not working. So I did everything that I had to do. I passed up and down that stairs a few times. And then later in the day, I went to my tool area and I looked at it and I figured, okay. And I went and I got a screw and I decided the hole got bigger. No wonder it fell off. It needs a washer. So I got a rubber one, maybe one for the top, not for that. And I went in, I got a stool, I stood on there, I had a Phillips screwdriver, I had a Robertson screwdriver, because my dad and my brothers are in construction, I know all of this, right? I stood on there and I put a screw in and it worked. But it's not fixed, but it's doable, it's fixable. I have to get someone to come and maybe take over the whole thing and put something new. But for now, I fixed it. And then I realized, concentrate on what is working. What is working? I have a furnace with heat. What is working? My phone is working. I heard it too. Oh, thanks, Nancy. What is working? What is that song with a loud chime? You know what? That must be Kylie and Vanessa leaving. That's the alarm. So that's making all that. Thank you. You heard it, eh? So sorry, guys, but they're gone now. So that is what we have to remember. Concentrate on what is working. So your knee hurts, so your shoulder hurts, so your fingers hurt. But what is working? So put the emphasis on what is working. So that means if you're told to concentrate on what is working, then be grateful for what is working. Say, I'm so happy and grateful. I can smell, I can see. I'm so happy and grateful that it wasn't stairs that were broken, that I couldn't go up and down the stairs. This is what I mean. And that's what we have to always do. Be grateful for what is working. And leave what is not working and attend to them as you did need be. So it's fixable. I did the best I could, and it does work, but it needs work. So I have to share that with you. Instead of sitting there and complaining about all what is not working in your life, please take the time and be grateful for what is. Have a wonderful and amazing morning. Thank you so much for spending that extra 5 minutes with me while I babble. So let me just tell you say hello to these people. Hi, Kia and Nancy and Lisa and Jilly and Loretta and Lynn. Thank you so much for holding on and staying there with me. And I hope the chime didn't bother you. Wait until summer comes and my 4-foot chime outside is chiming away. He will call it bells like a man used to. Have an absolutely amazing weekend. Protect your emotional prosperity this weekend. Be careful when you're talking to others and realize when they're coming to lay it on you that you try to find a way to cover yourself with a blanket. Some people say, I cover myself with the precious blood. Well, whatever works for you. Because if you carry it, it will become yours. And when it becomes yours, it will not go away. But if it's something positive and it feels good, embrace it. And look for what is good in your life and what is working in your life. Because the same way what is working is great, and it will not always be working. The same way what is broken is disgusting and it will not always be broken. Celebrate the best that you have right now. Have a great and amazing morning. Love you. Thanks for coming. I'm grateful and I appreciate your every moment here with me today. Bye-bye, everyone.